first of all, if you would, just tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me, your name, where you're from, where you grew up, how you grew up, and stuff like that, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, my name's Seth Thomas. I grew up in Rogersville, Tennessee, about an hour from here. Moved to Johnson City for school and just stuck around for the last 15 years or so. Um,
When did you start singing?
I started singing at an early age, probably got my first experience in church, and then got my first guitar probably 9 or 10 years old, and it's always just been something that I had, enjoyed doing since that time. So I've spent a lot of years, sometimes practicing a lot and sometimes not, but it's always been a constant for me to have a guitar around and to play and to,
Was it difficult to learn, or is singing, songwriting, playing music something that has come natural?
I'd say some of it came natural. I grew up around some other instruments that my father just had in the house, so I'd had some exposure to those. Um, I won't say it came quickly because I was never formally trained. I never had a guitar teacher or a singing coach as I was growing up. So most of it was learned by listening to songs on the radio and picking up my guitar and playing every chord I knew until I found the ones that sounded like the song on the radio. So
So you got a pretty good ear for tone and pitch and stuff?
I developed a pretty good ear by that learning method. So it's worked out to my advantage later on, but it did take a lot of years for me to get
Yeah.
where I am, as opposed to having a teacher that could get you there a lot quicker.
Tell me about the songwriting, because I know the Tennessee Songwriters competition, you had to play an original song, and everybody in the competition had to play an original song. Tell me about your songwriting. What's the inspiration for it? When did that start?
The songwriting came pretty quickly after I started playing. Once I got to an age where emotions started coming in, which was probably adolescence, young teen years. And so the songwriting started early on, but at that age, you really just have one emotion, and that's usually love or affection. And so a lot of the songs tended to focus around that subject matter. And as I've gotten older, the subject matter has changed. Things that, I see things a little differently. And I'd actually spoken with a songwriter in Nashville, a friend of a friend, probably in my early 20s. And he was asked to give me some advice for someone who liked to write songs. And he said, wait till you're 35. And at the time, I thought he was just being dismissive. I didn't really see the encouragement in that. But as I've gotten to that age, it completely makes sense now to see that with life experience, with love, pain, heartbreak, all of those things that come with it, and even through other experiences of people around me, close friends and family, your songwriting changes and it develops into a style, and you tend to write about deeper subjects and probably things that are dear to you or intimate to you, or to someone around you. So the subject matter changes dramatically, and that's one thing I've noticed as I've gotten older. Is the songwriting, I think, has gotten better. We'll let the consumer judge that, but yeah, I think I've gradually, incrementally worked my way into a little better subject matter when I write songs. So.
How old are you now?
I'm 33 now.
Okay. Do you have kids?
No kids.
No kids yet?
No.
You think your songwriting might change if you ever have kids a little
I'm
bit?
sure. I'm sure. I mean, with every season of life, the songwriting tends to reflect that. So I'm sure when the time comes that I have kids, I'm sure they'll have something written about them in song at some point. So, and I think that's part of the recipe for a good song, is to put real emotion into it. To write something without feeling it, sometimes that shows through in the music, by not really reaching anyone, we'll say. And I think that's why some of the songs that I've written really move people, hopefully. That's my goal.
Are your songs, are the lyrics laced with symbolism, or are they literal? Do you delve into subject matter in a glossed over manner, or do you put it right out there in story mode?
I'd say I write very literally. It's more of a story. Um, I don't know if I mean to do that, but they tend to come out that way. It's just a story with tone to it. Um, but that is mixed in with some alliteration from time to time that, um, I try to work hard at getting better at it. So sometimes that means changing your style a little bit, or taking inspiration from somewhere that you normally haven't. So I try to change that up and try different things and see how it works. And if those things become part of my style, then all the better. But we continue to grow as songwriters, just like you would in any other field or any business. You want to continue to learn and grow, and it's a muscle. You have to practice it. Some days the songs come out in 10 minutes on a page, and sometimes you work for 6 months on one. So, but it takes sitting down and at least writing something a few times a week, if not every day, even if it's not a song, if it's just something that you just need to get on paper, an emotion or whatever it may be. So,
Can you tell me about your recent win at the Tennessee Songwriters competition? And just for a little bit of background, this competition had 4 stops, or has 4 stops across Tennessee. There's going to be 25 songwriters at each stop, and all 25 of those slots at all 4 stops, so 100 slots, they filled up in an hour and a half. How did you get one? How did you choose the song that you were going to play, and just take me through the process of the competition?
Well, I have a friend that had heard about the competition and tipped me off to the sign up the day that the sign up started. So I wisely put a notification in my phone like 10 minutes before to set an alarm so that I would know to get on the website and sign up. And it did happen really quick. I don't know what you said, an hour and a half, they all filled up. I think Johnson City was like within a couple of minutes it had filled up. So I got lucky and got in there. It was exciting to be a part of that, and I think it's awesome that the state of Tennessee is putting some focus on the songwriters, because those are the unsung heroes of what Nashville's identity, the identity that they claim. Those guys never get recognition. They never get awards, but they're the lifeblood of that industry for sure. So I think, once I saw that I'd gotten in, I started looking through some old songs, but songs that I thought were good for a setting like that, because Down Home's a great listening room. And the one that I settled on kind of has some personal meaning too, in that it's probably the most recent that I've written or finished, and it was covering subject matter that was pretty near and dear to me and pretty a sensitive subject. So I wrote it back probably October and November, and I lost my father right after Christmas. And this song kind of delves into the conversations that we had leading up to that, because he had cancer and we knew it was imminent. So I was really intentional about having some great conversation and getting some of that recorded. And so the song really tells that story. And so it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the people in my family to remember him that way. And the silent wisdom that he always had. So it was really a no-brainer once I started digging into it that was the song that I would want to play to honor him, because it's pretty fresh still. But and I think I made a good choice.
What did it mean to you to win with that song?
there was some really good competition, and I had a few friends that were in the competition as well, and they did a great job. And so I didn't really have high expectations, but once I won, um, I got to see a joy in my mother that I hadn't seen in a long time, and that was made it all worth it. No matter what happens from here on out, to see her that happy in that moment and to get to be there for that, that was that's why I do what I do, and that's what the things that make it worth it.
Well, what did you win in the competition?
So the four winners will go to Nashville on March 31st and play at the Bluebird Cafe. I've gotten in contact with some of the other winners just through social media and just congratulated them, and I think it's just a showcase. I don't think it's a competition at that point. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get together with some songwriters from across the state who went through the same emotions and competition that I did, and just get to sit in a room that has had so many great musicians come through and play there, and get to play the songs that I've written and get to listen to the songs that they've written. I think it's a really cool experience, and one that I'll never forget. So they gave me a guitar with the Songwriters Week decal on the front of it. So that was really neat. That'll be a cool heirloom or
I think that's
piece of
perfect word for
memorabilia.
it.
Yeah,
Heirloom memorabilia.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's really exciting, and I've written for years, and most of my stuff never makes it out of a folder. But I've really been intentional in the last year or two to write more and to put my stuff out there in the public more, just because it does no good sitting in a folder. Mm-hmm. And the whole reason that I write is to hopefully reach someone through the words that I put on a page, and it may touch an event in their life and help them find healing from that, or maybe just brings them a moment of joy. It reminds them of some point when they were really happy, and that's the emotion that I hope to tap into, is to let those words speak out through someone else, and hope that they pick up on that and really has the ability to touch them or move them.
Are you nervous about representing the strong history of singer-songwriters from Northeast Tennessee? I mean, we have the Birthplace of Country Music Museum. We have country music recordings going all the way back to 1928, predating some of the Memphis and Nashville recordings. And so, are you going to take some of that heritage tradition down there with you, or are you
I
nervous
hope
about
so.
representing the area?
Yeah, I hope I can do those guys justice. I grew up listening to some of those old tunes, and so I've pulled a lot of inspiration from that. And amongst other genres too, I love soul music and some old R&B. And so jazz and some of the early blues players. I've pulled inspiration from a lot of different places, but I hope I can do those songwriters and singers of the past some justice, representing this part of the country. I don't think Northeast Tennessee always gets the recognition it deserves for its role in music, not just country music, but music in general. And that can change, but it takes local songwriters getting out there and playing the music and getting in front of people and creating that culture. So,
what genre would you describe your music?
I don't know. I've never been able to pinpoint my genre. It probably has some country folk notes to it, tones to it, just because I grew up here. I have the accent of a local. But like I said, I've pulled my inspiration from so many different places, from singing in the chorale at ETSU in different languages and traveling through Europe, singing, you know, timeless pieces, classical pieces. One of the coolest experiences was getting to sing a piece that Bach wrote standing over Bach's grave in Germany. So all of those things and all of those experiences play back into how I do or why I do what I do. But I take inspiration from all of those. I love old soul music, the Sam Cookes and those artists from the 50s and 60s that just had a lot of life in their music. I love listening to that stuff, some early jazz and just the intricacies of jazz musicians and the way that they play. So, you know, I don't ever want to pigeonhole myself. I probably do just culturally because that's what I grew up around. It's hard to not be affected by that. But yeah, I don't know if I listen to the same music day to day. It seems to change on a daily basis. So I just love it all.
I just got a few more questions for you, and one of them is, has anybody ever described you as an old soul?
Yeah, for sure. I've heard that a few times. I appreciate coffee and a good crossword puzzle in the morning, so they're probably not too far off on that. But yeah, I've heard that a few times.
All right, and I've joined you down here at your day job, which is Skillville in Johnson City.
Right.
Are you going to be quitting that anytime soon? Are you thinking full-time music career? What's the future on that?
You know, I'll go wherever the road leads for sure. This is always going to be a part of my life because I love working with my hands. It's something I learned from my father at an early age, restoring antique cars, which I'm also doing right now, restoring an old Chevrolet van for a customer. But that's always going to be there. Wherever the music leads, I think it's all rooted in how I grew up and the inspiration that I've taken from my mother and my father and the things that they've taught me and instilled in me. So regardless of where I'm playing or what I'm playing, you know, working with my hands and working with people and trying to help and teach people is always going to be something that I seek out, no matter what season I'm in or where I might be. So this is always going to be a part of me, and I'm happy to be here and get to meet the people that I've met, the artists that come through this space. It's been great. It's been a great experience for the last year and a half. And I've got great partners in Brad and Leah that are good at what they do as well, and get to work in here with them. I think we've created something really cool for Johnson City, and I wouldn't ever not want to be a part of that.
All right, we got about 30 seconds left.
Okay.
If people wanted to listen to some of your music, is there a place they could listen to any of it? Or they're
Not
gonna have
right
to catch
now.
a live show?
Yeah, they'll have to catch a live show right now. I'm in the process of making some plans to record some stuff and get it out there. All of this songwriter competition stuff just kind of happened on a whim, and so hopefully I'll have some material out there in the near future that people can go check out and listen to.
Yeah, so if I cry at some point during this, just know I don't cry through all my songs. I remember my father's lines, but only here for a little while. No one ever wants to leave. Mother's strong, but she'll need your son when my rest has begun. And I'm walking Paradise's street. Take everything I've given you. Hold fast and you'll make it through. Can you see that waning moon? swear it'll always fill your cup. Some days you'll feel like giving up. Never leave work to be done. I can't say your heart won't break. When you love, that's the chance you take. Keep on loving like I love you, son. Take everything I've given you. Hold fast and you'll make it through. When you see that window, I'll be watching over you. Oh dear, the things that I told you. When you feel like that wind, I'll be here to see you through. Teach your children all